So today I'm finally going to be doing my review on the Saem Semi-Pro Multicolor products that I got quite a while ago that I ordered from Rose Shop probably about a month ago now. I have been trying a lot of these colors out. I wanted to see what all different uses they had, what colors looked like and how I could use them and things like that. So it's been a while, but I have been trying out a lot of these different colors. And at the end I will actually include like a chart of all the colors and like certain, I would say really common uses that you could use each color for. So I'm gonna get started and let you guys know what I think about this product. So I have all 20 of the colors here. They all range from like white, black, you've got primary colors, you have a whole bunch of like peachy, pinky, reddy, orangey kind of tones, like some blues, some mints, you know, just a lot of different colors. So I'm gonna go through and I'll first show you all the swatches of all the colors. These are in color order, and all of these with the exception of color number 3, which is Pearl. All the other ones are a matte finish. The Pearl one is a bit like of a shimmer kind of finish, and of course you could mix that in with any of these colors to kind of give it more of a pearly look, but as far as all the colors, they are 100% matte, no glitter, no shimmer, no shine, nothing. In addition to all the colors in this line, there's also one product that is a clear product, and that is called the softener. So what that is supposed to do is you can mix that to kind of sheer out or dull out some colors a bit if you want them to be less intense. I'll talk more on this shade specifically in a little bit, but for now, those are all the colors. So today I ended up using 8 different colors to kind of create this whole look. I will talk you through how I used each color and kind of what I thought about it. So the very first one I used is the one number 12. This one is called Soft Pink, and I used this one on my cheeks for a blush. So how I did that, I just applied it to the back of my hand, and then I used a stippling brush to apply that to my cheeks to get a really nice, soft, easy to blend kind of technique. Of course, you could just use your fingers with these, but since these are very like super pigmented colors, I find that using something like a stippling brush is going to give you a lot more control and not put down too much color at once. If you do use your fingers, you can kind of get like a really intense look if that's what you're going for. Otherwise, I would say using a stippling brush is definitely the way to go. The next color I used is number 3, Pearl. This one is the only like shimmer one in the entire collection. This one I used just on its own. I didn't mix it with anything, and I just applied this to the tops of my cheekbones, a little bit down the bridge of my nose, and then just a little bit on the top of my Cupid's bow. To be 100% honest, it's not my favorite use to kind of use this as a highlighter, but it definitely is an option, and I think it doesn't look bad. It's just, since this is a little bit of a thicker product, I found that it was just a little bit hard to work with for like a highlighter, but it got the job done, and I don't think it actually looks that bad. You just kind of have to be very careful at how you apply it, just so you don't like kind of go overboard or disrupt any of the products underneath. So the next color I used is Skin Nude number 10. This one I used as just an overall eyeshadow primer, and since this has so much coverage, it's really great to kind of block out any, like if you have veins or any kind of discoloration on your eyelids and you have like a lighter skin tone, this one works really well for that. So that's how I use this one, just as an all over eyeshadow kind of base. So after that, I just applied some dark brown shadows to my crease and blended those out, and then the next actual color I used was number 5, Mint. This one is so pretty. I use this one all over my lid as a colored base for this mint green eyeshadow that I applied from my ice cream palette from Dose of Colors. So then after that, I applied the eyeshadow on top, and it just really helped the eyeshadow color really stand out a bit more, and it gave it something a little bit tackiness to kind of like really stick to, which I think helps the eyeshadow stay longer. Next I used color number 1, Black, and this I actually used for my eyeliner on the top of my eyelids. So I used just an angled brush to apply this, and to be honest, I'm not the best at applying eyeliner that way, so like forgive my application a bit, but the product actually works pretty nicely. I find that it's not necessarily as like dark as some pen liners that I typically use, but if you actually like kind of do it in layers, it will build up to a really nice rich black color. So that's what I did today. And again, I'm not the best at applying eyeliner with a brush, so my wing was like a little funky, so I did touch that up with my regular pen liner. That's just on the wing area, and then the rest of it is all just this product for the eyeliner. liner. So the next two colors I used was actually kind of like a little bit of an experiment. This was the first time that I had used these in this way, but it's definitely an option. So I had mixed two colors together to create like an eyebrow color. So the two colors that I mixed was number 11 beige and number 18 deep brown. So those are the two colors that I mixed. I kind of did like a little bit more of the beige and then just a little bit dot of the brown because I do like a more cool toned brow color. So this is what it looks like in the actual eyebrows applied. I actually think it worked better than I was expecting, but it's definitely not really something I would probably do on a day-to-day basis just because it is a little bit of a hassle to mix the color, and of course, since you do have to work a little quickly with it, you don't want to like run out of the product and have to like remix and try to get the same exact color. So I think that this is a great option if one of these colors already matches like your eyebrow color. I think if you have red hair, there's a lot of options that you could choose from for this to use as an eyebrow kind of like filler color. Now I did go back over it with my actual BH Cosmetics brow pomade, so that's kind of what the difference is here. I wanted to show you different options of how to use it, but I also want to be honest that I probably would not use this for me personally. You could also use the really fun colors as like a festival eyebrow look. That's kind of a trendy thing at the moment, so there's really just so many things you could do. And then the final way I use this product, again, I mixed two different colors together. Again, I used number 11 beige and then I used number 15 rose. So I mixed those two colors to create this lip color that I'm wearing. There's so many lip combinations that you can create from mixing, and there's also a lot that you can use just straight out of the tube without having to mix if that's not your thing. So I mixed those two colors, and you know, coincidentally it came out pretty similar to the soft pink color number 12, but of course you can just mix them however you want. So that's the kind of the color that I came up with. And again, these are going to dry to more of like a matte finish. So unless you mix in the softener product, it's definitely going to be more of like a matte kind of dry feeling. Not dry as in uncomfortable. I don't find this to be very uncomfortable at all, but it definitely is a noticeably matte product. And of course you could always just throw a gloss on top and just have like a glossy color. So those are some of the ways that I use some colors today for this look. Now I'm going to move on to talking just about specific products, how I like to use them, what I think about them overall, tips and tricks, and just things like that. So like I said before, there are so many different uses you can use these for. I find like the most options that you could use this for is like as eyeshadow bases. I feel like pretty much every single color you could use as like an eyeshadow base, to be honest. There's a lot of colors in this line that really do lend itself to cheek colors. Again, I feel like you could use any of these colors for like a winged liner or liquid liner or things like that. And again, lips, you're gonna have a lot of options as well. And if you want to mix some colors, or if there's already an existing color that works for your brow color, that's an option as well. So I mean, there's just really so many options that you can use these for. So number one is a little bit of an application tip. So before you actually squeeze out the product, I find it's good to kind of like gently knead the actual package just a little bit, because sometimes I find with certain colors they kind of tend to separate a little bit. These are a bit of a thicker product, so it's not as quite easy to like what's the word, like shake, but if you kind of like knead it a little bit, I find that it helps with the product not coming out like with a little bit of an oil layer. So definitely do that, and if it does kind of come up, you can kind of just mix it all back in together, and I find that it works pretty fine. The next tip I have is to work quickly. So these do have a tendency to kind of dry fairly quickly. So if you're mixing two colors to kind of create a custom color, I'd say definitely be careful, because you don't want that color to like dry up while you're applying it to one side of your face, and then you have to like remix it and try to match the colors. So just be aware of that. So if I'm mixing a color like for my eyeshadow base or something, I would apply it to both eyes and then do a shadow on top if that's how I'm using it. Otherwise it might be a little bit tricky to kind of like rematch that color and mix it again. And I also think the key is to use just a little bit of the product. I feel like you don't need much at all, especially with these how pigmented they are. So like for cheek products, if you're not mixing a cheek product and you're just applying it straight, I say apply it to the back of the hand and then use like either a stipple brush, or if you're using your fingers. So the last color in this line is number 20, and this one is called the softener. So this one is going to be a product that you can use to dilute the colors or kind of shear them out a bit. To be honest, I was a little bit surprised at how different the consistency of this product is compared to the rest of them. I thought that this one was going to be more of like a texture, kind of like the face primers, those like kind of silicone-y ones that are not completely clear, the kind of like cloudy ones almost, if you know what I mean. I thought that the softener was going to be like that, but to be honest, I find that it's quite a bit of a different texture compared to all the other colors. I don't know if you can see it, but this is it on my hand, and it has a rather sticky kind of feeling to it, and it's definitely much more, it almost feels like an Aquaphor kind of like texture to it. It's very like shiny, and it's clear, and it almost again has like sort of like a Vaseline kind of texture to it as well. And so it's honestly not my favorite to apply to the skin. It just feels very thick. It doesn't like really rub into the skin. It more of creates like a barrier and like sits like on top of the skin rather than going into the skin. And overall, I just find it has a little bit more of a greasier feeling, whereas the rest of these are truly like a cream kind of product. So to kind of demonstrate how this product works, I'm going to use the color number 7. This one is Fuschia. So what I have done, I have applied 1 dot on each side of my hand, and then on one side, I'm gonna add a little dollop of the softener. And so this, I feel like maybe if you want to like create more of a lip product, this could kind of be better because it really is going to give it more of a glossy kind of finish. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of blend out just a little bit of that fuchsia color so you can kind of see what it's like. It's very bright and pretty. And now if I mix this with the softener, I don't know if you'll really be able to see, but it really adds a lot of gloss. It almost creates more of like a lip gloss kind of feeling, to be honest. So for me personally, I wouldn't want to use the softener like on my face. I just feel like it's too shiny. And I'll do an up close so you can kind of get a better idea of what I mean between the gloss color. So this top part here, this is just the color. I kind of blended it a little bit too much, but that one is just the product alone. And then this one here is the color with the softener color. To be honest, I feel like softener is not a really good word to use for this product. I feel like if it was like a gloss, that would be much more indicative of what the product really is. But overall, I really like these products. I think there's so many different things you can do with them. I think colored based eyeshadows is how I would most likely use a lot of these colors overall, but I feel like there's so many things you can do with them. But overall, I really love these. I think these are a total buy, and I would totally recommend them, especially if you just want a couple colors. I do feel like there are a couple colors missing that I wish were already like in a mixed form, and that is like some sort of purple and some sort of like secondary color green. Now of course there is this mint color, but I think like a true like grass green would be very nice to have already in a mixed form. So now I'm going to include some charts of all of the colors and what I would most recommend these colors, how you could use them. Of course you can use them really in any way you'd like, but these are just some of my suggestions of how you could use these colors if you feel like a little bit lost or not really know what to do with them.
And one thing I forgot to mention is that these do have a scent to them. In my original haul video, I described it as kind of like a citrusy kind of scent, but the more I have smelled these, the more I have realized they almost have more of like a peach kind of scent to them, which I find is very pleasant and I actually really like. Once I have applied them to my skin, however, you can't really smell too much of the product. It's really just that initial kind of application. You can smell the product a bit. That's just one thing I wanted to mention in case you are sensitive to fragrance. This definitely does have an added fragrance to it.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, link is below. Until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.